Hey, what's up, guys? Spencer Rhodes here, and I am discussing Kenny from the Walking Dead Telltale games, the first two or three or whatever seasons that the character is in, and whether or not there is any possible way that he is still alive in the newest game, I guess, Season 4. Is there any possible way that Kenny is still alive? What would he be doing? I know that there are two options in Season 2. With Kenny, he leaves pretty much, and then you don't see him in Season 3. One of those options is you have to let him kill Jane, I think, and then Clementine just leaves Kenny sitting on the ground. And then there is, I forgot the name of the community. It's not Wellington. Wellington was the one led by Carver. And but there was a new community, and Kenny has to leave Clementine to be there, and Kenny leaves. But that you can stay with him, or you can be in the community, but you can't have both. So if you stay in the community and Kenny leaves, that's the last time you ever see him. So even though if you do stay with him, he gets that death in Season 3, which is frustrating. And that really turned me off Season 3, to be honest. I mean, it just didn't look much. It didn't look very good to begin with. I watched some of the cutscenes and everything. It didn't look very good, but just the way they handled Kenny's character was really disappointing. I mean, I really thought that they could have kept him alive for like episode 1 or episode 2 or something. Like they just did Omid all over again. And I think people were expecting that. They were like, oh, Kenny and Jane are determinate, so it's going to be like, oh, me, they're just going to kill that person in the first 5 minutes. And that's what they do. And it's just like, you could have just like keep him alive as a side character. Do like the Caden or Ashley Vermeer thing, where you have those characters alive depending on what you do, but they just have like a small role. Like I would have done that with Kenny. But with the way they kill him in Season 3, if you choose to stay with him, yeah, that's kind of frustrating. And the thing is, what about the other two options where the last time you see Kenny is alive? Granted, Kenny is not with Clementine in either of those options, but for all that we know, unless said otherwise by the actor Gavin Hammond or someone from Telltale, unless otherwise told, you can pretty much, if you have Kenny leave Clementine at the end of Season 2 to stay with the community, or if you leave, I'd say particularly that ending, because in that ending Clementine actually likes Kenny or whatever. But if you have Kenny leave Clementine at that community, you can pretty much headcanon Kenny still being alive during Season 4, during the current episodes. You could create that canon in your head that Kenny is still alive. You can't do that if you stay with him at the end of Season 2, but you know what I mean. If you leave him alive in one of those options where he doesn't come back in Season 3, but he's still alive, you could headcanon him still being alive in Season 4. Now, you can make the argument that with the ending where Kenny and Clementine separates, when they separate and Clementine stays with the community and Kenny goes off and it's snowing really heavy and he gives Clementine his hat and he just disappears and he's sad and it's a really sad ending. He looks like a broken man, and some people argue that he wouldn't have lived very long anyway. And yeah, I mean, that's the vibe I got, but he does take a bag that was offered to him. So that kind of shows me that at least he had some intent of surviving, some will to live. I mean, he had a pretty messed up time during Season 2. He lost Sarita, his second love interest. Just a bunch of people got killed. He killed Jane, who was a decent person, but kind of she tried to put a baby in a car in the snow, and it got surrounded by walkers just to prove a point about someone. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I mean, some bad stuff happened. Kenny killed Jane if you let him. He lost his second woman. He just caused a bunch of shitty things to happen. It was just sort of, he had anger problems. It was just a difficult season for him. And then when he departs with Clementine and leaves Clementine and Alvin Jr. to that community and walks off, he kind of redeems himself. I think he even says something like, this is the right thing to do. I want to do the right thing, or something like that. I think after he kills Jane, if Clementine stays with him, he says that he's going to do better on his anger problems. So when he offers to leave and let Clementine and Alvin Jr. stay with the community, he's trying to redeem himself. He's trying to do right by these last two people that he knows that are still alive, because everyone else is dead or gone or whatever. So it's kind of a redemption for Kenny if he actually succeeds and they stay at that community and Kenny just walks off, even though he's kind of a broken man. He's also sort of redeemed himself for the stuff that he might have felt responsible for, like being angry and the Russian kid that he kept getting mad at and just all that stuff. So it's sort of, I feel like Kenny kind of redeems himself. If you let him live past killing Jane, he basically redeems himself no matter what. So I think, no, he doesn't have to have been a broken man. Yeah, he gave his hat away to Clementine, and yeah, he'll never see her or Alvin Jr. again, and he's alone, and he might feel responsible, and it's cold outside, but he has that bag of food that was given to him, and it looked like a decent-sized bag, so that could have kept him alive for a little while. And I saw somewhere on YouTube comments about how he likes boats. I'm just thinking about that stupid ass YouTube video where he keeps going boat urban, but yeah, he likes boats. So him now being this multi-year surviving survivor, he would know enough to still use those fisherman skills to survive, but also survive in the apocalypse because he knows enough about the apocalypse. Season 2 is like 2.5 years into the apocalypse, so by then Kenny is a pretty capable survivor. He could be a pretty capable survivor on his own, on a boat. We know he knows how to fix boats, he knows how to use boats. I believe there's still going to be some boats that could be used in the apocalypse. A lot of people that had boats probably got killed or crashed or whatever, so a boat could at the very least be fixed. I think that would be realistic. Kenny could have found a boat. He could have fixed it. He could have gotten in it. He could have used his fisherman skills. We know from the comics that fishing life, sea life, like all life in the sea, actually got a lot better because of the apocalypse. So if Kenny does survive and everything, and he leaves Clementine at that community and walks off and he uses his fisherman skills, his skills for a boat, yeah, he could have definitely survived. He could definitely still be alive because he's good with the sea and there's a lot of sea life. And remember, the video games and the comics are the same universe. So if there's a lot of sea life in the comics, there's going to be a lot of sea life in the games. So it would make sense for Kenny to still be alive and to be on a boat fishing somewhere and be alive during season 4. Maybe he found a new community of people or something like that. It just kind of sucks that if you stay with him, he dies. He gets that shitty Omid 2.0 death in season 3. But if you keep him alive and you separate from him, or you have him, I would say the best way to keep Kenny alive is to have him leave Clementine and Alvin Jr. at that community, because that way he kind of gets a redemption and he might have some will to live, even though it's snowing and there's a blizzard and whatever. He could find a boat and use his fisherman skills. It's plausible. It's plausible. I kind of agree that he's sort of a broken man at that point, but it's plausible that he could still be alive. So he's my favorite character in the games. So I might go with that. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the ending where I just like the fact that if Clementine stays with him and then he makes it to season 3, because he gets to spend more time with Alvin Jr. And Alvin Jr. is like 2 once he dies. So I think that's a little better than him just leaving. But I mean, he could also survive if he leaves at season 2. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think it's plausible that Kenny is still alive in season 4, depending on the ending you choose with that character? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 Walking Dead videos per day, so please hit that subscribe button. With all that said, I am Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye.